When Payton Leutner noticed that Morgan Geyser didn't seem to have any friends in their fourth grade class, she initiated a friendship with her. Even at a young age, Leutner thought everyone should have at least one friend. I guess, true, I don't know how to say it, a true high point of someone's character like that, even at that young age as a 4-year-old, to say that, like, you know what? I'm going to befriend that person because they don't have any friends. That says a lot about a person, and to be so young and have that's pretty amazing. She found Geyser to be funny and kind and imaginative, and the two trusted one another quickly. She said that despite seeming to be a little lonely, Geyser was a happy child for the most part. By the 6th grade, Geyser had met another girl their age, Anissa Weier, who lived in the same apartment complex as her. Weier and Geyser rode the same bus to school and bonded quickly. It was around this time that Leutner noticed a change in Geyser. She began talking about Slender Man, as you mentioned, a fictional character created as an internet meme, depicted as a tall, thin humanoid with no face and wearing a black suit. I never knew, that Slender Man thing, I never knew where that came from. I've just heard about it. I know there's like a couple horror movies called Slender Man, but right. I didn't know that it was just created on some like online forum as a meme. No idea. Did you know that?
Nope, didn't know it either. And I think I've heard of Slender Man, but I just didn't know the backstory. I didn't know the details. And then obviously with these kids, I didn't know about that either. And why is that? I don't know. I don't know why I would not have ever done a deep dive. I think it may have been my era of steering clear of serial killers and those type of things. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's something that was created like in the mid 2000s, like 2005, 6, something like that. So it's past when we went to school. It's not an urban legend. It's just some meme that was created. But the talk of Slender Man made Leutner uncomfortable and honestly scared her a bit, according to her statements later. Through the other two girls seemed to bond over the character, drawing them closer together. They talked about it all the time. They truly believed, these two other girls believed that this Slenderman character was real. And it just got to a point of really making Payton Leutner truly uncomfortable. She also said that Weier didn't like her and was often nasty to her. I read in an interview with Leutner, she said that this girl seemed to be, it seemed to her she was jealous that she was friends with the other girl. Does that make sense? Like, these are 11 and 12-year-old girls.
This is why we call this.
I'm not a girl dad, so you know what I mean. My knowledge of like how the interaction between prepubescent girls is with each other is very limited.
This is why we called it 3. It's the triangle of 3, where someone's always left out. Yeah. Someone's always jealous. Someone's always not happy, and it's that dynamic of friends coming together. And we learned, or one of the people that we talked to said, I just deal with even numbers. I can't deal with odd numbers, especially 3, because the pieces or the parts do not fit together with these girls coming up. There's too much going on. And that was, if you think about what 3 was really about, it was the dynamic of those 3 girls and how they both got along and loved each other one day. And the next day, one of the girls was kicked to the curb looking, outside in.
Yeah. And I think that makes sense to me. If you have 3 people, you're not all equally best friends. There's going to be 2 that are closer. It's going to happen. And so you're right. You're always going to have one person who is going to feel left out to some degree. And I think, again, you're talking about young girls.
There's one
like
that's
that.
popular, right?
Yeah.
There's a popular one. There's a passive one. There's a one that may not feel that she belongs in the first place. Or maybe she does feel she belongs, she's not getting a right position. There's all kinds of power dynamics at play.
One more reason I'm I'm okay with just having a boy. Being a girl dad would be awesome too, but I know there's a whole host of other things I would have to learn in raising a young girl. But this sort of dynamic that came about made Leutner consider ending the friendship. She just it became strong enough of this sort of attacking feeling or just being nasty to her. It just got weird, and she considered ending the friendship. But Geyser seemed to have a way of guilting her into staying friends. But the tension between Leutner and Weier was ever present, and that talk of Slender Man became a constant. Weier and Geyser believed wholeheartedly, as I said, that this character was real. She even went, I read, she even went to her mother. This is Leutner, went to her mother at one point because it scared her so much. And these girls were so confident that this character, this, horror figure was real, that she went and asked her mother, like, hey, look, I need to level with me. Is this Slender Man real? And, of course not. No. And I think that kind of, as she looks back, that sort of told her a little bit about the psychology there happening with her friends. Like, something's a little off if they're believing so much in this, essentially an urban legend. In May of 2014, Geyser had a slumber party to celebrate her 12th birthday. Leutner and Weier were the only ones to attend, because she, I guess, didn't have many friends at all other than those two. They went to a roller rink and ate frozen yogurt, whatever, 12-year-old girls do for a birthday party. And after the party, Geyser wanted to go to bed early, something that was uncharacteristic for her, according to Leutner. It's not clear when the decision was made exactly, but Weier and Geyser had planned to kill Leutner in her sleep that night. However, they changed their plan and instead opted to do it in the morning at a nearby park. So things obviously escalate in the telling of this very quickly, but that really is how it happened. I mean, it was just kind of weird. She was debating ending this friendship, but still kind of felt bad for this other girl because she didn't have a lot of friends. And this whole time, something is brewing, something very diabolical is brewing with these other two girls. When the three woke up on May 31st, they ate breakfast, and Geyser proposed going to walk in a park. When they arrived, Geyser said she wanted to play hide and seek in the woods nearby. Once separated from Geyser, Weier told Leutner to lay down and cover herself with sticks and leaves to hide. Once she did that, Geyser appeared carrying a kitchen knife that she had taken from her home and repeatedly stabbed Leutner for a total of 19 times. We're talking 12-year-old girls here, as a reminder. The two girls ran after the attack, leaving Leutner for dead. She stood up and used trees to balance herself as she staggered out of the woods seeking help. When she came to a grassy clearing, she laid down, her vision blurring in and out. A man passing by on a bicycle spotted her, barely alive, and called for paramedics. Payton Leutner underwent intense surgery at ProHealth Waukesha Memorial Hospital. She'd sustained superficial wounds to her arms and legs. One stab wound to her abdomen had damaged her stomach and kidney, and another had actually penetrated her heart, missing a major artery by less than 1 millimeter. Dr. John Kellerman, Leutner's surgeon, stated that if the knife had gone the width of a human hair further, she would have died. She would not have lived. I mean, that horrible situation to be in, horrible attack, but someone maybe was smiling on her, because you think of that reality, the width of a human hair, if the knife had been that much further, she would have hit this artery and she would have died. That's truly astonishing.
It's incredible.
It really is. Fortunately for her. Leutner underwent a 6-hour surgery and was in critical but stable condition. She couldn't speak, so instead used a small whiteboard to communicate with authorities and medical staff. To her surprise, Geyser immediately confessed. She told police she and Weier had been planning the murder for months and wanted to kill her to appease Slender Man and prove that he was real. That was the only reason that they wanted to do this.
So weird.
Weird to say the least. Geyser was diagnosed with early onset schizophrenia while in police custody, which her father also had the same disorder. Schizophrenia, that is. Weier and Geyser were found guilty of attempted murder and sentenced to up to 25 and 40 years respectively. And Geyser has recently petitioned for early release. That was as of a couple years ago. I don't obviously think that she's out of prison. I don't think she'll get out of prison anytime soon. But you never know. Payton Leutner, as of 2020, had made a very difficult but full recovery and was making plans to attend college with hopes of pursuing a career in the medical profession. She has adjusted pretty well. I did read that she had, kind of come to terms with everything, and when they told her, the reason, authorities told her the reason that the girls had attempted to kill her, that was, to appease this Slender Man. She said she was not surprised at all. That's how firmly they believed in this ridiculous, internet meme. I mean, isn't that crazy that you think about, and this is such an exaggerated almost example of this, but I mean, when you think about kids, and we've talked about this before, just getting sucked into, we did another story of, just recently, what was her name? Devin. The social media where the guy that wanted to date her and she didn't want to date him, and he killed her and posted the stuff online. What does that say for sort of kids growing up with this stuff online and
you didn't
making
hear about
the determination between real and fake? And
you didn't hear about this stuff when we were growing up. Like there was maybe a kid that would have a pocket knife or a switchblade in their pants and they might show it off, or maybe there's a fight in the parking lot, but like it is a whole nother level these days with young people. Yeah. And what's also interesting, disturbing, whatever you want to think of it, is these kids are so young when they're being convicted and sent to prison. And when they're given a 25 or 50 year sentence and they're paroled, they could be getting out into society at like age 30 or 40 and have over half of their life still yet to go, right? Still, it's you think of the traditional, male in his 40s or 50s who commits a heinous crime or a murder or something, is sent to life in prison, and he's just going to die there when he's 78 or 82 years old or whatever, right? But these kids are so young and they're being tried young as adults, and they're able to get out. They're having parole hearings when they're like 27 years old, and not necessarily fully recovered or fixed or whatever the issue is, right? Like they're being put back in society, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You do see these examples of, and I mean, I say that, look, when I graduated high school, when I was in high school, Columbine happened, right? Which was the first time really that had ever happened. But that was one of the reasons I think that was such a huge national issue or worldwide issue, was because these kids were so young. Yeah, they went into a school and you have all those aspects, but it was because they were so young, and it was like one of the first times where people on a national or global scale went, how could these young kids just go and do this? Willingly and knowingly. It's not like they got into a fight and things went too far. I mean,
they're like hunters.
Yeah, it was premeditated, planned, and that's what happened with these girls.
Yeah.
So sad, but she survived, thankfully, and she's, there in prison, and she is able to live as much of a normal life as she can. She's pretty healthy, all things considered, and I'm always happy to hear that. When we come back, Jason, we'll hear your story.